Hello, friends. Hope you're doing well. Here at the home office, as they say, wanted to bring you a short video. This is part of the series I'm going to try to do called Programming Better with Jeremy, or PB with J. So the idea is I thought that this would be a fun way to share some of the material that we would be going over in our computer science classes. So anyway, with that, I will go ahead and get started and go ahead and share what I have going. You should be able to see my slides now, so we'll get started with the presentation. So today what I want to talk about is object-oriented programming. This is just kind of a brief introduction to this concept. We won't get into too many of the details. Useful links, and I should be able to post these below in the comment section, so we'll find out if I can get that nailed or not. So object-oriented programming. This is another way to organize code. And so there are two things that kind of go hand in hand. Thing number one is the object itself. Thus, that's the object part of object-oriented programming. Objects are basically the thing that does the stuff. Now, the other part of that that goes with that is the class. Class, you can think of it as like the recipe or the blueprint. It's the thing that defines the object. These are words that you've seen used before and you've heard them, and we've talked about, okay, we've got different classes of computers, different classes of cars, like we've got the sedan, we've got the sports car, we've got the SUV, we've got the semi and stuff like that. Well, you can think about classes as kind of like, okay, this is, if I talk about an SUV, a lot of people kind of know what that looks like. When we talk about a class, once you have the definition of the class, you can pretty much generalize what all the objects are going to look like and what all they're able to do and things like that. So objects make programming big things easier. And what I wanted to say about that is the book makes the bold claim, hey, you can't do this without object-oriented programming, talking about a lot of other things. For a long time we did, up until about the 1960s. But because it makes everything just a lot easier, that's what a lot of people have gone to. Even the arrays that we started using in a couple weeks ago, even the arrays are inside Java are an object. So it's not that you have to use them, but it does make things substantially easier. Okay, Simula, 1962, it introduced objects, classes, and inheritance. And the people, Bjorn Strustep and the other guy that came up with Java, they credit Simula as a major influence. And so I just grabbed the Wikipedia page right here. It's a good time. Like I'm really just quite well pleased to go out and find that, hey, you know what? Back in the 60s, man, they were using object-oriented programming. So it's not like this new shiny idea that we're just coming up with. It really does make things a little bit easier when we're working with code. Okay, so how do you learn more? If you want to be a professional programmer and start to write your own classes, Daniel Lang's is a great place to start. Specifically, they talk about chapters 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. These are the ideas. These are the real meat of object-oriented programming. Chapters 14, 15, and 16 in the Daniel Lang book go to GUIs and use GUIs as a way to help you learn more. And then the remainder of the chapters are built on these ideas. And again, that's because using objects and classes and things like that just makes programming easier. So a lot of the fun stuff, the cool stuff, the big projects that you can work on in Java, a lot of those are going to be using object-oriented design. Okay, there are also some fun links that you can go to and you can use. So LinkedIn Learning, let's just click on these links and see what happens. While that one's loading, I'll get the next one loading. And finally, this learning path. And so what you can see, there's a YouTube video, Learn Object-Oriented Design Principles.
Someone who loves writing code, as soon as I get a new idea for an application, I jump right to programming.
Okay, so anyway, this is called Programming Foundations Object-Oriented Design. They also have object-oriented programming with C#. And then they have an entire learning series called Becoming a Java Programmer. So programming foundation algorithms, object-oriented design, and learning Java, Java essential training, objects and APIs. They just have lots of fun stuff. And there's about 33 hours of training. So anyway, a lot of good resources out there online. I also want to point out that there's great YouTube channels. There's great programming tutorials. There's a lot of other good things that you can go and use that'll be beneficial to you. So I want to just do some brief examples right quick, building on what we've already seen or what you've hopefully seen. This isn't your first jump in to start using a Java programming, but if it is, this is kind of the quick and dirty of how to advance quickly from hello world to objects. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a print statement, and then we're going to create a custom function. So if you're following along in the Daniel Lang text, which yes, it is quite a fine book. I've beat the tar out of mine. If you're following along with that, this first line would be get rid of these tabs, make this. Okay, so this first one is going to be more like chapter 1 type stuff. This is going to be chapter 6 type stuff, and this is going to be chapter 9 type stuff. I do encourage people that are just starting out, let Eclipse try to help you along a little bit. However, we will not take a look at that in the brief video. We'll take a better look in that. Hopefully I'll have a follow-on video where I get into how to build up do some object-oriented programming. Okay, so a print statement. I use packages, and so this is the package that I'm using, and this should look very familiar. Public class hello world, and then we have the main method, and then we have a print statement that says hello Java, and the result is just this little line of code that says hello, or little line that says hello Java. Okay, with a method, inside our main method, we ask it to say hello. And then down below, still in the same class, we define the method say hello. And inside that, it's just the same print statement, but now it says hello Java from a method. And the result is as expected, hopefully. Now, there are two ways that you can define a class. You can define a class in the same file as the class that has the main method. That's the public class that you can call. Or you can do it in a separate file. So this one is where we're doing it in the same file. I'll show you an example in Eclipse just in a minute to show you what that looks like. But basically, now instead of in our main method just calling the custom method, now we actually have to create the object first. So I'm using the class or the blueprint custom class hello Java class, same file, and I'm using that to create an object called our object, which is a new, and it is a new what? Well, we tell it the blueprint we're using and any of the parameters we need to set it up. We're using the blueprint again, custom class hello Java class, same file. And then once we've created that, then we can use that object. And so this is just a one-liner, just like the print statement would be, and it's our object dot say hello. Now, I just made a comment here later in the same file after the second class bracket. So this first bracket is where the class starts. The second bracket is where the main method starts. This is where the main method ends. This is where the first class stops. Now we have a new class. This is the bracket where it starts, and this is where it stops. Inside that, I've got two things. The first thing is a constructor, and a constructor basically says, hey, if you're going to make one of these, here's how to make it. It's a blueprint, so it makes sense that that was in there. And then we've got a custom method, and the custom method is, well, it returns void because it's just a print statement. It says say hello, and this is just like the method that we would have done in chapter 6. And then it says system.out.print hello Java from inside a class. And when you see our result is very much as expected. Now, The next thing that we can do is we can actually do this in a different file. And so you can see that they're both in the same package. And this one is almost identical. This actually is the almost identical class that we used last time, but now it's got a different name because it's going to a different file. And so the class name is custom class hello Java class different file. Our object name is our other object, which is a new custom class hello Java class different file. And we're not passing it anything, but this all is actually one line of code. And then we have our object created, and then we can use our object. We use our object, our other object dot say hello. And so in our other file, I've got the public class, custom class hello Java class different file. And then again, actually, this time I didn't do a constructor. I just used what they refer to as the default constructor. I apologize for that curveball. The constructor should have looked much like this with not passing any parameters and just the two empty curly brackets. I failed to do that. I lent on Java and used its default constructor, so I apologize there. But anyway, we get the custom method. It's a public method called void that returns nothing, and it's called say hello, and we have system.print hello from inside a different file. And the result is as expected. So objects are a way to organize code. Objects are defined by classes, and classes can be thought of recipes or blueprints. So a class is the thing that says, hey, here's everything that stuff like this can do. And then the object is, okay, now we've got the blueprint, let's actually make one and then turn it loose in the wild, let it go around, eat things and do stuff, and all sorts of awesomeness. Objects make programming big things a lot easier. It makes programming a lot of fun. You can use well-defined class names to gather groups of ideas of custom methods, and objects are really handy if you've got if you want to reuse code and things like that. So it can speed up your programming process, and it actually makes things a lot of fun. Okay. The one thing I will say is because a lot of the homework problems that we do are kind of cookie cutter, we won't necessarily get the full glory and awesome sauce that is object-oriented programming. But as you dig into bigger projects that last longer than just like a week-long homework assignment, what you'll see is it actually does start to make things really, really awesome and let you really grow your code really quickly on big projects. Okay, so useful links again. Here, this should be a link to these slides, and I should be able to get that in the comments, and also the code repository I'm using. This is a private repository. I do give all of my students and anybody that wants to collaborate with me edit credentials on this. So if you want edit credentials, just email me at jeremy.swot@swosu.edu. SWOSU, that's my college. All right, friends, inside GitHub, this is what it's going to look like. So you have to drill down a little bit because I use packages. So you go to the repository, which is SWOSU Java examples. Inside that, you do Hello Java, the SRC folder, and then Hello Java OOP package. And inside that, we've got all the Java files. Okay, so this has been a quick overview of object-oriented programming. I want to show you just one little tidbit before I go. I hope you can forgive me. So just so you can get a chance to see what this code looks like, hold still, Skippy. This is inside. This is in. There we got it. Okay, calm down. So this is inside that package that I was just showing you. Here's the one that says hello world, and we'll just run this right quick, and it says hello world. And then we'll do hello world custom method. And again, we create our custom method here, and then we define it down below, but this is all in the same class. And Eclipse does a nice little highlighting to show this is where the class starts, this is where the class stops. So when we run this, it all looks very much the same. Now, I've got hello, same file, and that's here. We can see this is where the first class starts. This is where the first class stops. This could be one line of code. It gets a little long. But anyway, this line, we use define our class. we name our object, and then we say how we're going to create this thing. And then it says, all right, now we come down here and we give the template, and the template says, okay, here's our constructor, and then here's our custom method. And so we can go ahead, save this, and we can run this, and it says hello from inside a class. And so that's this line here. Now, we've got hello world class different file, and it looks almost identical to the last one that we did. And I can make it so this all shows up as a one-liner, and you can see that there. Okay, cool. And again, one line to declare the object and create it. And now we run it again, and it says hello. But where does this code exist? Well, what we did, when we defined this class, Eclipse said, hey, do you want us to go make that for us? So we went ahead and make it. Hold on, yeah, go ahead and go ask mommy for help, sweetie. I'll be right back. All right, so the way that they did this, I defined this class. I left it in the same package so you can see what this looks like in the Eclipse browser. And then I did not actually have a constructor, so I'll just make a constructor right quick. And so that's just the default constructor, nothing special, nothing to pass in. But anyway, we can go back here and we can rerun this code. And so it says, hello Java from inside a different file. So anyway, like I said, hopefully this is something that that you find useful. This was just a brief introduction to object-oriented programming with some really simple examples. But this is part of what I hope to do for a series called Programming Better with Jeremy. And this is supposed to be kind of a joyful journey of pleasant programming. And so the idea is, as I am making materials to share with my students, I want to share these through YouTube and just kind of give everybody a warm fuzzy about, hey, it's not that scary, we can do this. So thank you all for your time. Have a wonderful day, and please do be sure to let me know if there's anything I can do to help anybody. So again, thank you all for your time. Have a wonderful day, and please do let me know in the comments if there's anything I can do to make your experience better. Thank you all for your time.